Hey guys, this is Maverex and mates. I'm Maverex. This is my good mate Matty, but I haven't seen this guy in so long.
Well, good to be here, guys.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for having me, mate.
I've been wanting to get this guy on board for quite a while because, man, this guy, like, you know, he's a top level athlete, bro. Like, and not just an athlete, but like just a trainer. And like, tell me more about like that fight recently that you helped train Andy. Yeah.
Yeah. So the fight prep going into I'm his strength and conditioning coach, but like as you would know, like I've known him since high school, and he's a really good friend of mine. So being part of the journey is always like a blessing as a coach, but also being part of the fight camp as well. It's just a big honor for me to be part of because it's something that's so important, and every little detail makes such a big difference, especially for athletes that do generally care a lot.
Yep.
And he's very hardworking. His work ethic is second to none. So being part of that and being trusted with that process is just something I'm really mind blowing, and it's a big honor for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't come across a lot of individuals like that. A lot of people do like the idea of fighting, but once they get the idea that there's a lot of work, there's a lot of like that dog work that you got to get into, like they quickly avoid it.
Yep.
Yeah.
As soon as they get punched in the face, they're like, oh,
Yeah.
this is not for me.
Even
bro.
like the ugly stuff, like going for your runs, getting pushed during sparring, like when you're rolling around, you gas down, you want to tap out, but someone's on top of you, like bashing you, and you're just fighting for your life.
Yeah.
Like he lives and breathes it. Like he's in there loving it. Like he doesn't think second to it.
Respect, man. I've got to get that guy on this podcast
Yeah,
too.
for sure,
bro.
man. Yeah.
That's one thing why I really respect, and I feel like everyone just innately respects fighters, is because it's like the ultimate sport. Like,
Yeah,
it's,
I feel like it's a true test of like masculinity. Like in the olden days, you would fight to the death for survival.
gladiators.
Yeah, gladiators. So like, there's no more true test than that, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, yeah, you could play basketball and then you could dunk on someone, you stare them down, but then like, when it comes down to it and they fight and stuff, like, you're not allowed to. But when you get into the ring, you know you're out there to kill, kill this guy or he kills you.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not gonna go to that length, but because we're in 2022.
Yeah,
but like,
safety first.
Yeah, exactly. We want to go back to our families and stuff, and it's entertainment at the end of the day. But like, you have that innate fear, like, shit, this guy could put me in a concussion. He could put me in a coma.
Yeah.
And
like you never wish like ill will towards your opponent. You're martial artist at the end of the day, and you wanna. Most of my fights, I've had a beer with him after, I had a chat with him, and you know, always asked him to come spar with me. And it's the same thing. Never asked the same thing, but during that moment, you have that respect, but you're still there to kind of just kill each other. as bad as it sounds, you're there to like literally hurt each other.
Yeah.
But respectfully.
Yeah. Like obviously you're not gonna like fucking punch him in the balls and stuff. That's where you draw the line and stuff.
Yeah, there's that respect and that line you don't cross. But like, I'm not gonna pull my punches. I'm there to break my fist on his face or break his face with my fist.
Yeah, like you literally are trying to kill him, but at the same time you're conscious. At the same time, it's like the balance, hey. That
you know when to switch off, you know when to switch on. Yeah.
And that's what I love about fighters as well. It's like most of the, like, I would say, okay, not all of them, but I would say 90% of the fights after the fight, there's just pure respect and like, because you both know what you had to go through to get to that point.
Yeah, 100%. Like I'm thankful with myself and all the people that I've trained, that I've went to their fights. They've all been really respectful towards their opponents. And same, likewise, their opponents have been really respectful to them. They've come up to check on them after, have a beer with each other, have a quick talk, like congratulate each other, ask each other about each other's training. And yeah, like you realise that they're putting in a lot of work to put on a show for you, to give you that respect, that they're going to give you their 100%. So it's the same thing as well, like you're training as hard as you can to show them what your best ability is to compete with them. So yeah, there's that mutual respect of each other. And I think that's what the martial arts is, the respect for martial arts is there. Yeah. Rather than just a fight, it's like the spirit of martial artists.
Yeah, it's like growing up until the fight, you're just talking shit at each other. Obviously, you're trying to build a crowd and trying to get people as much viewers as possible as well.
At the end of the day, it is entertainment too.
Yes. But then after the fight, like you've both been through this dance, you've been through this experience together, and you kind of build this brotherly bond in a sense.
Yeah, for sure.
With your enemy, and because you have that, because you know exactly what they went through, and like you traded blows and everything. Like that's something, like I know it sounds a bit weird, but like that is intimate in a sense.
Yeah, it is. It is. I get what you're saying, and I highly agree with it. Like it's just, it's a different type of friendship.
Yeah.
You don't know each other. You just bash each other, and then out of nowhere, you're like real good mates. And you're like, man, this, no other sport can give you that.
Yeah, literally. It goes like from 0 to 100, and then from there, it's like, it stays at 100 because there's that level of, you kind of, unless they end up like, obviously, like, I don't know, talking shit about your mom or some shit, it continue.
Yeah, like Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz. Yeah,
that's where it's like, obviously, I don't know if it's part of the game, or I can't speak on it myself because I'm not a professional fighter. But
so I don't agree with those things that happen. I feel like it's just more people with an ego that let that happen. Like someone will, think really lowly of someone else that they can kind of talk shit about them in a sense. But I've never come across that. I can't agree with it. I can't relate to that because I've always showed respect to my parents, and likewise they've always showed respect to me. So I can't relate to that. Yeah.
I think what you mentioned about like the whole respect of martial arts, like that kind of reminds me of how like the more martial arts you do, a lot of people, they go to martial arts because they want to defend themselves, but when they actually do the BJJ, they do the training class of Muay Thai, MMA, whatever it is, they end up realizing that they don't put themselves in those positions of like how fights could manifest.
Yeah.
Would you agree? It's like you do martial arts to not get into fights, whereas the normal person would think that, oh no, you do martial arts so you get ready for the fight. But it's actually, you're preparing yourself, but I feel like most of the people that I know that martial arts are the most peaceful, the most calm.
Yeah, it's funny, when I first started martial arts, it was the same concept. I was like, I need to learn how to defend myself. But the more I do it now, it's like, the more I can just avoid it in general. If there's any scenario where I can get in trouble, I'd rather just walk away. Even though if the guy's talking like hips mad shit or anything like that, like it doesn't hurt my ego. I know most of the time, unless he's like a pro fighter or something, I could probably just like check him out or put him unconscious or whatever it is, if he's like an untrained individual. So there's no glory in that. I'd rather just go home and have a good day. There's no point in me ruining my day over it.
Exactly.
It's more of a bad thing if I do check him out and then police get involved and I'll get in trouble for something that I could have completely avoided.
Exactly.
But in saying that, when push does come to shove, you kind of know when to mitigate it. Best bet is just always run away. Like I never condone violence outside of like competition. But best bet is just walk away, run away, do whatever you need to, just avoid it. But if you do need to get into that scruffle, then you know how to minimize it as much as possible.
Exactly. It's like you've practiced your mind, so when you're in that situation, you're so calm and prepared. But you don't, like, you want to run away from it as much as possible, because that's true confidence. Like, you don't have to prove yourself. That,
exactly
I'm
right,
a boost.
Yeah, like I can like break his arm or whatever. But what does that prove to me? Like I train with guys that are like actually training. This guy probably doesn't train. If he does, like arc up to me if he's drunk. So what do I got to prove? Like nothing. I just want to go home and have a sleep, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Go home and eat my food and enjoy time with like my partner or whatever it is. Yeah.
Smash your mega ring with a fried egg.
Yeah, for sure. The gains.
Yeah, man. And so actually, I want to go back to how we first met. Like so I was in a time where I had just fucked up, bro. I had just recovered from my, I would say, depression. I don't really know if it was depression, but I was pretty much like fucking smoking weed all day. I was watching porn all day. All I was doing was eating junk food. I didn't get out of bed till like 11 p.m. Like I was in the worst state. Anyways, I got out of that, thankfully, thank God. And then that's when I was like, no, I need to bring my body back into shape, because I was the skinniest I've ever been. Just the confidence was just down in the gutter. Every bad thing that you can imagine, I was doing.
Yeah.
And so I finally built some momentum to rebuild that, and that's when I went to King's Academy.
Yeah.
And I remember on a Saturday or something, and there was barely any people. There was probably like 5 people there. You were one of those, and this was my first time grappling, because I did it with Edward. You know Edward?
Yeah.
I did it with him. He was the one that got me into BJJ, actually. Shout out to Edward, my brother.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until, so this was my return to BJJ.
Yeah.
And I dropped when my skin was really bad as well. I was trying to heal my skin with like aloe vera, and one time, so I had no money as well. It's just every bad thing was happening.
The lowest of lows.
Bro, literally rock bottom, bro. Rock bottom. I swear it was obsidian, bro. Even worse than that. And so there was one time where I only had $500 left, yeah. And I decided to spend that $500 on a knife set for my mum.
Yeah, wow.
And
must have been a good knife set, but
yeah, it was really one of those Japanese ones, the global ones, and it came with 4 knives, and I was using one of the knife, the sharpest knife. It was like a dagger, bro. It was like this long, and I was stupidly chopping some aloe vera over the bin instead of like on a chopping board, and I must have dropped, like flinched or something, and then the knife just dropped, and the knife went straight down, like it didn't like falter or anything, went straight down like a dagger into my knee. Oof. And I felt this tingle all the way down to my toes.
Looking down, it's probably all
bloody, and blood was everywhere. Yeah, wow. It's like it got stuck in there for a second. I was like, "Mom, help me!" It was so bad, bro.
At least you know the knife was real good.
I got my money's worth, man. Yeah. And then so then I ended up having to get stitches and everything, and then that's when the road to recovery happened, and that's a few months after. That's when I met you at that gym, King's Academy, and then the first person that I rolled was with you, and I was like, wow, this guy's pretty big, bro. But I'm just gonna try it out, see how it goes.
Extra small shirt, man. That's my secret.
You see my what I'm trying to do, anyways. But yeah, so like I was the first guy to roll was with you, and then I remember we were just playing around. Obviously, nothing too intense. But then you got my leg in a leg lock or something, and then my leg started to cramp. I was like, oh fuck! And at that point, I was like, yes or no? Ego, yes or no? I was like, no, I'm done. I'm done straight away. I had to like tap out straight away, bro, because I feel like even a year before that, at that position, my ego would have been too strong. I'll be like, nah, don't give up.
You know, it's funny, a lot of people would do that, and then I didn't see them for a couple of weeks. And you know, myself included, when I first started, I was like, oh, you know, I can muscle this position. Yep. And I'm at that point where you might as well just tap, restart it, let's learn, play with each other. There's no point, because I learned that after, you know, like 5 injuries later, so you do learn,
you got to go through it. You got to go through it too. You got to get slapped in the face to realize that slap's going to hurt, bro. And
for sure.
To dodge in time. So yeah, I want to ask you, in that time in your life, that was like 2018, mid 2018, a little bit after, like what were you kind of going through during then? And how early on into the coaching / martial arts journey were you?
So at that point, I wasn't doing any martial arts. So my background in martial arts actually started when I was quite young. So I got bullied quite a lot when I was younger. Well, obviously you wouldn't know, our generation, there was quite a lot of racism growing up. So the area that I grew in Busby, was very white predominant, and there wasn't a lot of many Asian ethnics there. So we copped a lot of like lashback growing up, and that's when my brother put me into Muay Thai. So I did Muay Thai for about 3 years, and I loved it.
When did you start?
Probably when I was about 5, so maybe 10 years old.
Oh damn!
Yeah, okay. 10 years old, and I probably stopped when I was about 13, just as I got into high school. That's when I started getting into lifting, and lifting put me into perspective of how fitness could, you know, benefit my life. I pursued being a PT. I wasn't really good at school, kind of failed school. My parents were like furious with it. Yeah, of course. Wasn't doing too good, but I pursued my passion, stuck to it. I think I've been training more than like, how old am I now? 26. So I've been training more than like 15 years of my life.
Ooh, yeah.
And there hasn't been a time during that 15 years where I took a break due to laziness.
Wow.
If anything, I just took a break because I either went on holiday, and even then I would still be training.
Yep.
So I don't know, that discipline stuck to me, but that pursuit led me to lifting, competing, like powerlifting, CrossFit, weightlifting, strongman. But those sports never really appealed to me too much. It was more so I just enjoyed it in the moment. And then that's when I kind of picked up grappling, because jiu-jitsu was like really intriguing to me. You know, being able to throw people, submit them with so much control and composure. Like there wasn't a lot of motion that went into it when I was watching people compete. Because at that time I had a few mates that were training at King's as well. And like, oh, come try and train with us. That's when I tried it, I loved it, and it was always constantly learning. I was watching like even the black belt too, had been training for like 10 years. They were still learning as they were going. It was never ending. So I was like, you know what? This is something that sparks my interest, because at the end of the day, like I want to keep improving. There's no like real end point for me, which is why I loved it so much.
Yes.
But then because I got into grappling and I had that striking experience, I jumped into the MMA sparring, and then that kind of just like lit the fire again for everything. I was always had that like study in strength and conditioning anyway. And then I was like, you know what? There's a missing field within the combat sports like field industry where not a lot of people knew what they were doing in terms of getting stronger, fitter, healthier for their sport. So that's one thing I wanted to fill in the void. And that's when I kind of ventured in more of it. So I actually started competing more to get an idea of the physical demands that combat sports had on an individual, so that I could better understand the demands for myself to coach people. But then I just fell in love with it, so I just started fighting more. So yeah. that's the main gist of it. Yeah.
Okay, so you pretty much had like, you loved movement pretty much your whole life.
Pretty much, yeah.
Got bullied really bad, and then your older brother got you into Muay Thai to help defend yourself. Did you end up getting to use, like in high school or something? What happened what was the mind shift change, and did other people realize that? Like
I did
go back to school?
Funny enough, people actually picked on me quite a fair bit in high school, just due to my height. I've been this height probably since I was like 10. So I was quite a tall kid.
Yeah.
So a lot of times they were trying to pick on me just because of my height. They're like, oh, if we can smash him, then, you know, like, we're top shit. And I wasn't the most behaved kid growing up too. I was a bit of a smart ass sometimes, unnecessarily.
Yep.
To the point when if I were to see myself as a 10-year-old now, I'd probably kick myself in the side of the road. So I don't blame them, to be honest.
Fucking drop kick.
Yeah, like, man, what's this kid doing? But I did get to use it, but it was never me trying to start anything. It was either my friends getting in trouble and I'd have to jump in, or again, like people just trying to cause trouble unnecessarily. Most of the time, to be honest, I actually lost my fights when I was younger. Mainly because it was never like a one-on-one scenario. It was mainly just like groups and stuff.
Yeah.
So they would just hit me like on the side, or be like three of us versus like 10 others. But I didn't get into trouble too much. I never got any like crazy injuries or anything out of it, thankfully, like luckily.
Oh yeah, thankfully.
Like one time we did get into a scuffle and my friend got pulled in the eye. And he went to hospital and everything, like internal bleeding in his eye, had to wear eye patch and everything. And again, it was never like we were never the ones starting it, if anything.
No.
I don't know, it was just, you would know, like our area is just, there's a lot of trouble that goes around unnecessarily. So it's one of those things. It was good to have like that experience, but I definitely needed it, but it was never something that I had to use to the full extent. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I definitely resonate with everything you're saying about like, the whole getting pulled in the eye. I never got pulled in the eye, but like just the area I grew up in, pretty much Cabramatta, Busby, like Liverpool area in Sydney. I would say it's not the slums, but I guess it's closer to the ghetto. It's definitely more ghetto than like Stratfield or something. That's for sure.
Like it's not the worst. It's not like how you hear in America, like everyone's carrying guns and stuff. But like it would be common to, you know, just walk home and see like a bunch of kids just going around with like knives and like flashing it out at people, or someone getting mugged. Like I think I got mugged like 5 or 6 times growing up.
Really?
Yeah, just random kids going up to me, demanding like money and stuff like that.
Damn.
And I never had anything on me, so I was like, oh, whatever, it's like $5, I don't care. So I just take my $5, don't want any trouble. Yes, but nothing major from there.
So what would you give, what kind of advice would you give to people that like were in the street by themselves and something like that happens to them?
Well, try to go to somewhere that's public, so there's people that are there to kind of help and assist. It's less likely to occur when there's a lot of people around. Second thing is just, if you don't have much to give, just give them what you have. Avoid trouble. And third thing is, if you can run, just run.
Just sprint out.
Just run. Throw sand in the eye, like throw a bag at them and just like leg it.
It's like the whole, you can never underestimate like surprise, hey?
Yeah, you never know what to have. Like one time I got mugged because someone had knuckle busters. And then his mate had a knife, which I saw after. So I was like, there's no point in me getting stabbed.
What do you mean you saw after?
So like, as I gave him my $10, he had a knife in his pocket, which was his hand was in, and then he put it out after. So I was like, if I had tried to confront him in that situation without knowing, who knows what could happen. You know
exactly.
Yeah. And what's $10 to me? It's like whatever. Actually, $10 was quite a lot growing up. It was a good amount.
There's a lot of super dupers.
Yeah, but I mean, like, my life would be worth more than $10.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And like, you never know what's going through that person's mind as well.
Yeah. Like, when you can stand up for yourself, stand up for yourself. But most of the time, it's unnecessary.
Exactly.
If you have the confidence that you can stand up for yourself, to me, that's enough already. Like, I'm not saying like take shit and just like, you know, just let people have their way. But at the same time, like, know when to choose the right battle.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Because if you choose the wrong one, that could be your last.
Exactly right. Like, live to fight another day, in a sense. Like, kids nowadays, like, I don't know if you saw the news that, I think it was the Islander kid that walked up to someone with a knife, hands down, just, like, tried to, like, punch one of him, got his throat slashed, and then he died. Can't remember where it was, actually, but it was quite recent.
Man.
But, like, in that scenario, it's like, what was that worth, you know what I mean? Like, you could have just, you know, caught a day, went home, you would be with your family right now, but, just one cut was all it took, got him in the throat, and then he bled out and died. So
That's
it was
heartbreaking.
Like, quite sad and very unnecessary. Yeah.
That really reminds me of what Sun Tzu said in his book, The Art of War.
Yeah.
How it's like, I don't know exactly what he said, but he pretty much said, avoid fighting at all costs. Unless
there was a quote, I got the book as well, awesome book.
So good.
It was the best.
Recommended, guys.
Yeah, the best war, the battle was won when there was no need to battle. Something along those lines.
Yes.
And that's something that resonated with me quite often when I read through it. Yeah, but he's very like, I like how he really thinks of strategy.
Yeah.
You know, same as I don't know if you read the Book of Five Rings by Musashi Miyamoto.
Yes.
That's another one where a lot of strategy. It's very hard to like decipher when you read into it because it's based off like their literacy when he was around.
Yep.
So they tried their best to translate it, but when you kind of like get more deep into it, you can kind of like pick things out of it.
And I love how like the warrior's mindset can be applicable to all areas of life.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Like you can pick and choose, and it's all about adaptability and your mindset and mind games that you can play on your opponent, whether that be in business or in the ring. Yeah,
well, the Book of Five Rings was put in a lot of libraries in the business section. Right? And I'm thinking, oh, that's weird. But now I kind of like think about it, I'm like, no, it's not weird at all. Like, I was probably just too stupid during that time. It was like business section. What the hell?
Yeah. It's like as you grow older, you go back to the same material and I guess sources of information, and you see completely different ways.
Yeah, different perspectives. It's like when someone tells you something, and then another person tells you the exact same thing. Sometimes it just clicks better because you're like, oh, yeah, you're right. And then the other person will be like, what the hell? I just said the same thing. But it's just the way that you perceive it.
Exactly. Yeah. And it could be depending on what kind of state you were in, if you're more receptive, if the person you... Because would you agree that if someone that you don't like tells you something, there's more likely chance that you won't listen to him as compared to your best mate?
Yeah, 100%. Like, you would listen to it, you're like, nah, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Even though you know it's right.
Exactly.
And your best mate will say the same thing. No, yeah, you're right. Why didn't I think of that?
Exactly. Exactly. It all comes down to, like, the emotions. Emotions are so powerful.
Yeah,
as well. 100%. I'm going to double check real quick to see if it's still recording. Fuck yeah. That's what I want to ask you about. So the books, so that's the one book that you really like, The Art of War, The Five Rings, and that book that you've been sharing on Instagram. What's that one?
12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson.
Oh, is that from Jordan Peterson?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's such a dense read. Like, I wish I had more time to read during the day. Like, I designate myself like 20 minutes a day to read, but most times I only get like 10 minutes just because I'm always back to back with work. But when I did have more time, I was reading through it. It just took me so long to go through it because I reread a lot of bits just to kind of get more meaning out of it.
Yeah.
And it was such a dense book, but man, I would recommend it to anyone that's just a little bit more confused and like needing a little bit more insight on life. Because even though there's 12 chapters, it's literally just 12 chapters and a codex at the end where he kind of finalizes how his life related to the 12 rules, and you can kind of get a better idea of how they relate to him. But just having those 12 rules are really awesome.
Yeah,
just to go through because it's pretty. Yeah, like I said, it's a dense read, but like there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, I really recommend that book as well. I didn't read it. I listened to the audiobook, but like that's why I didn't know what book it was because the format of that book was different. You bought a different edition, hey?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was like just mainly like a quotes book because every single one that you share is like a gem, man.
Oh, you're talking about the ones I share every morning?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. That is the Daily Affirmations book by Lisa Messenger. So that is a quotes book. So 365 pages, so one every day of a particular quote. And then the quotes will be just off like famous people, philosophers, anything that can kind of give insight. And you know what's funny? Like the reason I put that up was because I actually got it as a Christmas gift from one of my bosses. And I loved it. And I was like, as soon as I opened it, I was like, man, this is the shit. Like, this is bomb. I wake up quite early in the morning, like 4 a.m. in the morning, and like people say, oh, you kind of get used to it. But for me, I don't know. I feel like death for the first like 10 minutes when I wake up. When I wake up, first 10 minutes of my life, I'm like questioning why I'm alive, why I exist. But after that, I'm fine.
Why you exist, as in like what's the meaning and everything, like
yeah, or like should I just go neck myself because I'm just so tired? And, yeah, this is one of those things. Like I wake up, I'm like, man, fuck, like, do I need a job? Do I need to live? Yeah. I just want to crash my car and just like go to sleep. And
all these existential crisis
pretty much. But then as soon as I like turn on the lights, rub my eyes, open that book, it sets my day. And I've gotten a lot of good feedback too, because so many people have messaged me saying, you know, thank you so much for doing that. Like it's they wait for me to upload it, and then sometimes I'll forget because like I'm away and they're like, oh, you didn't upload it. I was like, fuck, sorry, I'm so sorry, my bad. But yeah, it just sets me on the right path for the day. I can't relate to autoquotes, especially the ones where it relates back to the female predominantly. I try to relate to it, but there's a lot that are predominantly like feminine, which I can't relate to. But even then, as long as I can provide some kind of content that helps people, so I might have a lot of like females on my Instagram that I upload and they say it. As long as that helps them, it gives me a little bit of gratitude too. Yeah.
What I like about that book is like every time you post it, it's like we're going on this 365-day journey with you.
Literally a whole year,
Yeah, and so we're all like learning together at the same time. That's why I like to post my quote of the days as well. And so you said you wake up at 4 a.m. every day. How long has that been going on for?
Quite a while now, actually, like close to 5 years.
So was there like a catalyst for you to start that, or were you just thinking about the purposes and stuff and like, oh, I just need more time in the day and stuff?
I just need more time in the day. Well, I did start work at 5 a.m. So I didn't have time to fit in clients or anything after that. So it was kind of like I needed more time during the day. So I slept about 5 to 6 hours a day, which I would not recommend to anyone, especially if you are kind of like optimizing for performance and whatnot. But if you need to do it, I guess like, you know how it is, you just got to grind it out sometimes. So I make sure that I get the best like 5 and 6 hours sleep I can possible. So my sleep hygiene is pretty good. But yeah, the reason I got into the 4 a.m. workouts is just I just needed more time. Either to fit in my training, to fit in more clients, or whatever it is. Yeah, I just needed more time. And
so from that 5-year journey, every single day you wake up, it's still like, what the fuck am I doing, kind of thing.
Yeah, it never gets easier. Never gets easier. Shit. Like at first, I always reminded myself, oh, you know what, I just need to adjust. I need to adjust. To an extent, I did. Like I function way better during the day now, but it's just the initial 10 minutes of waking up. I just want to go back to bed. But you can't always live life being comfortable. So I always remind myself during that moment, like, oh, it's normal. It's normal. Like, as many times as people say, no, it's not normal, like, it is pretty normal. Especially if it doesn't affect the rest of your day. Like, first 10 minutes, I'm fine. First 10 minutes, I'm deaf, but after that, I'm fine. Like, I'm all good to go. It's a normal day for me.
Okay. Yeah. And did you ever falter any of those? Or like, as soon as you started that, boom, 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 you never missed a day?
No, I never missed a day. Except for like weekends, my work schedule is a little bit different on weekends. So those are my weekdays. Weekends I still wake up quite early. I currently am working 7 days a week as well. So I do wake up not too early on Sundays, maybe like 6 or 7. Sometimes 8 if I have anything on. But I still work on Sundays. But yeah, no, not really, man. Like, unless I'm like really sick. But even then, I take care of my health pretty well. I'm never sick. Like I maybe got sick once this year, and that was just COVID. And yeah, I haven't been since, like that was probably like New Year's. And it's September now. I haven't been sick since then.
How's that possible with 5, 6 hours of sleep?
Yeah, like honestly, like I reckon my 5 to 6 hours sleep is probably better than most people's 8 hours sleep. In all honesty, like I do every little bit I can to maximize the 5 to 6 hours. Yeah.
Like you wear a sleep mask and all that. Like.
So I make sure the room temperature is the right temperature, because usually we fall asleep best when it's 16 to 18 degrees. Dim all lights. I make sure I don't eat anything like 3 hours before I sleep. Magnesium, all that stuff. Just no caffeine after 12. Making sure I'm ramping my nervous system down. So that I am in a relaxed state, so that I can fall asleep deeper.
No blue light.
No blue light. When I wake up as well, I wake up to this alarm clock, so not even my phone, but it's an alarm clock that has birds chirping at a low volume.
Okay.
And it slowly increases, so it's a little bit more natural in a sense. And the alarm clock has a light the light has a certain amount of lux that will increase to simulate like sunrise. So it makes me feel as natural as possible to wake up.
Okay. So your 5 to 6 hours is probably better quality than most people's like 8 hours sleep then.
Yeah, so like if someone's sleeping 8 hours but they eat like right before bed, they had caffeine, snacking, like they've got lights on their phone, they're probably not going to get the best quality of 8 hours of sleep. You know what I mean? So like it's a little bit of quality over quantity for myself.
So would you say it's more so about like preparing and like getting yourself in the best state?
Yeah, I'm a very big believer in failing to prepare is preparing to fail.
Yes.
And that's something that I've had to deal with a lot of my members and my clients, especially when it comes to that nutrition side of things. Because I do diet plans for some, not so much diet plans, but macro plans and just like nutritional guidelines for my clients. Because for them, if you can train a lot, that's not going to do shit if you don't sleep well, don't eat well. It's a lifestyle thing, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone looks at these like athletes and like, oh, I want a body like that. Oh, I want to be able to like run like that, lift like that. I'm like, these guys care about everything. They don't just train hard. Anyone can train hard.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I'll take that back. Not everyone can train hard. Everyone thinks they can train hard, but most people can train hard when they put their mind to it.
Yeah.
But not everyone can live the lifestyle to accommodate for that.
That's the hard work is in the kitchen, in the bed, and the other 23 hours of the day. Hey?
Yeah, literally. Like, what are you really doing to optimize that training? I can train hard, go drink beers, not sleep, and then all that training literally just goes to shit. Like, you know what I mean?
So what are some things that you could optimize outside of the gym to get the best out of pretty much your whole day then?
My first advice is just sleep. Sleep is the most important one. There's like so many studies to prove that lack of sleep has so much health detriments. Enough quality sleep just boosts your body so much. Like you're just at less risk of like dementia, schizophrenia, all that stuff. Cognitive effects is a lot more alert to you. You can think clearly, decision making skills, all that stuff. But even when you come to the gym, if you have enough sleep, you're less likely to get injured. Lack of sleep is like a big contributor to like injury. Not even just because your tissue doesn't recover, but like lack of coordination, all that stuff. You just can't make decisions as well. Even worse for fighting because you're getting punched in the head or choked out. So you need, quick reactions and whatnot. But that's my first advice: sleep well and sleep enough. Second advice is just, and this goes back to Jordan Peterson's book, take care of yourself as if you're responsible for taking care of someone else.
Yep.
So, like, he goes back to the book where he's saying, like, for example, if you have a dog, right, and you know that the dog is supposed to take its medication or eat certain food, you're going to ensure that dog does whatever it can to be as healthy. But for yourself, you're less likely to do that. So, yeah, be responsible enough to like actually take care of your health. Don't put yourself on a pedestal where you're like, no, I'll do that tomorrow. Like, eat well, drink enough water, get enough sunlight, go for a walk, limit your alcohol intake, like socialize, like make yourself happy, like be in a really good mindset because that's going to set you up to more success and longevity along the way. If you're doubting yourself and you're depressed and you're lacking energy all the time, you're just setting yourself up for failure. And again, preparing to fail is failing to prepare. Sorry, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Yeah.
In my second episode, that was the quote I was trying to I was like, preparing to fail, so like I butchered it. Like if only you were there, right there next to me and Michael. But yeah, like it's so funny how like most of these tips and tricks are pretty much just common sense.
Yeah, but again, perceptions, right? Like the way we perceive it, like reading that book, and just other people telling me stuff too that like you can always learn from. Like you hear it once and you know it, and then you hear it again, you're like, oh, the more you hear it, the more it makes sense, and you get a little bit more information out of it every time. Yeah.
And also, like, I guess what I was trying to more say is that like it's common sense, but a lot of people don't practice it. It's like we know we need to sleep well, we know we need to exercise, we know we need sunlight, all the basics. We know we need to love ourselves, we need to socialize and be happy and stuff, but a lot of us don't take care of ourselves like 100%. How we should take care of someone we love, just like Jordan Peterson says.
Yeah, right.
And so how do we step out of ourselves to look at ourselves from a different angle and like actually practice taking care of ourselves? Like,
so from my understanding, a lot of times people they do that either because they're in denial or they're afraid of the negative consequences. And this is myself included. Like, I wouldn't say I'm a big risk taker, but I'm quite ambitious as a person, and I don't really care if I lose or win along the way. To an extent, obviously, I would like to win more than lose. But if I do lose, in any kind of aspect in life, whether it be like with business, with my friends, with my training, with my fights, it's more of an experience for me. As long as I can learn something out of it. If I win, it's the same deal. I'm not winning just to win. I'm winning to learn more valuable experience. Yes. So a lot of people aren't willing, I guess, to take on those consequences. They just want to win for the sake of winning without risking the consequence. Yep. So I feel like for us to be able to take care of ourselves more, we need to understand that there's going to be both positive and negatives. It's just how we deal with the negatives, and we just got to pull through with it. The second thing I'd say, and again, this relates back to a lot of like training with my clients and understanding the psychology behind them. Because being a PT and a strength and conditioning coach isn't just about training. It's understanding the psychology behind your clients as well, how to make them adhere to the training plan and the guidelines and their betterment of their lifestyle a little bit better, making them feel more positive about themselves. And a lot of times it's just the unwillingness to change anything around their life. You tell someone to eat better, and just a simple tool like wake up, drink a protein shake. So this is something that relates back to a lot of my clients now that they don't have enough protein within their diet, that want to build muscle and get hypertrophy. I'm like, you need more protein in your body to repair and build. So have more protein. Okay, simple way, have a protein shake. And then a lot of times, oh no, I didn't do that. Why not? Oh, I don't know. I'm like, is it because you're scared of change? You're not bothered? They're like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, okay, I want you to message me when you do it now. I'm going to message you. I do that, and then they do it, and then they get into a habit of it. And that's when everything changes, just making those habits. But the initial change, I feel like no one likes change. They want the idea of change without the action of change. Without
the work.
Yeah. Like so many people will say to me, I want to lose weight. I'm like, okay, what do you want? What are you going to do different? Oh, I don't know. Oh, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm like, that's not going to work. They're like, oh, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm like, you need to work to,
exactly.
You need to change something.
Yep.
And most of the time that's going to involve work. It's going to involve hard work. And not a lot of people like that. Yeah.
I feel like for me, from my experience, the best way to change is to, and the least, that will create the least amount of friction is from changing my identity. And so, for example, if I want to gain weight, or if I want to increase my explosiveness in my jump, for example, I would just say something like, I am someone that can jump 40 inches. And then I feel like that kind of does the ripple effect into the habits and stuff.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
You don't have to force yourself to do it.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, like no one's going to believe in you apart from yourself, right? Like people can kind of give you that confidence initially by saying, yeah, I believe in you. Yeah, you can do it. And you hear it and it's quite nice to know. Like it's always like welcoming to hear people have faith in you. But behind closed doors when no one's there, no one's rooting for you, like who else is going to be there, right? Only yourself. So if you don't have that belief in yourself, how can you trust in everyone else's belief in you? And then even then, worse, you're letting them down.
Facts.
Yeah, but even worse than that, you're letting yourself down. So then I know for you to do something, you need to believe in yourself and you need to take action of it. Like win or lose, again, you just need to have that dogfight mentality where I am the best, I can do this. Even if you aren't truly the best, you know, because many of us aren't. The best is the best for a reason. There's only a small fraction of them. But you still need to believe that you are the best to be able to do it. You need to have that faith in yourself.
Yes.
Because again, no one else is going to have that faith as much as you do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like LeBron James and Ronaldo and all that. They had to believe that they were the best before they became the best.
Yeah, literally.
Before they manifest that into this physical reality.
Yeah, like you hear Muhammad Ali talk. He's always like saying, I'm the best.
I'm the greatest.
I'm the greatest. And he was the greatest for a reason. He genuinely believed it. Yeah.
Okay.
And even if you do believe in yourself to be the best, that doesn't necessarily mean you will be the best. But there's a minimum requirement for it.
Yes, yes. And you're already so ahead of so many others that don't believe that they're the best.
Exactly right.
And so that, it's just the mentality comes down to the mindset at the end of the day. Hey,
yeah, 100%.
Like, even if you don't reach that, like if you feel that in your soul and your heart, then you're already taking that journey to at least be the best version of yourself which I feel like is the most important thing. Like, not all of us were born to be the best, obviously, but all of us can be the best versions of ourselves. And that's the only way we can really give service back to the world and live a fulfilling life.
Yeah, for sure.
So I want to ask you, what practices do you do to, I guess, harness the power to believe in yourself and build that self-confidence?
So to be honest with you, a lot of it is just due to habits and discipline and just being in the trenches every day. Like, it's not something that you build overnight, and I feel like this is where people get the misconception of it. Again, to relate back to like my clients, I just tell them make a small change and make it a habit of it, because you can't just flip a 180 straight away. But once you set those habits, it becomes less of you think about it all the time and more of a subconscious thing. You know it's going to be there. So making small habits, changing those habits, and then just sticking to them over time. So like I said with my training, when I was younger, I just stuck to it because I enjoyed it, but then I just knew that it would make me better. And I never took time off because I knew that it would make me better anyway. And then now I don't need to kind of get myself to the gym, drag myself to the gym. Like, obviously I do have days where I need rest, and I'll be like, no, it's smarter for me to rest.
Exactly.
Not so much me being lazy, it's me, I'm
being smart.
Yeah, like I'm not recovered. If I train, I might hurt myself. So I'm just gonna rest, and then I'm gonna live to fight another day.
Exactly.
But I don't need to drag myself to the gym or to work, because it's disciplinary. I know that I need to do it. My body knows that I need to do it. I don't need to think twice about it. I just go do it.
It's just a habit. It's just so ingrained in your psyche, your identity, that it's like, if anything, I feel like athletes like me and you, and like people that I guess consider themselves high performers, they kind of feel bad when they take those days off, even if they know that they're like fully they're not going to get the best out of it if they show up. But it's like the idea of like showing up is 90% of the work. So when you do take a day off, even if you know you're injured, like it feels kind of bad. Yeah,
the psychology behind it. Like I do know what you mean. That was something that I struggled with early on during like my athletic career, because I always was like, I need to outwork everyone. I wasn't the most talented when it came to sports. I was just always the one that just did what I needed to and a little bit more, and just made sure that I paid attention as much as possible. But I didn't pick things up as fast as everyone else. So that kind of helped me get along the way. And every time I did take time off, I was like, do I really need to take time off? It was kind of like a battle of, am I really tired, or am I just being like shit?
Yeah.
But then like 90% of the time I was genuinely tired. And then the other times I did go, I would just hit myself. I'm like, fuck, I know it. I should just listen.
Yeah.
And it was a constant battle, but you do learn. Like it's all experience, right? Like you learn from your experiences. Well, at least you should be learning from your experiences. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to go back to like your coaching philosophy and just how you see, I guess, coaching athletes compared to coaching regular people. Yeah, general population.
So I enjoy both. Like I actually genuinely enjoy both. With athletes, they kind of know what they want. So there's a little bit more like structure and a clearer purpose to it. With Gen Pop, they don't know as much what they want. It's very general. I want to lose weight, I want to gain muscle, I want to look better. I want to be healthier. But then that's very like generalized. It could
really
mean
broad.
anything.
Yeah.
Like if I'm training an athlete for soccer, they're training for soccer, and I can pinpoint things.
Yeah.
More speed, more agility, more conditioning, whatever it is.
Yeah.
For Gen Pop, it's like not saying they're shit, but it's kind of like shit to fit in a sense. It's much more gratifying to see the end result, because you literally see them from rock bottom, starting from nothing, and you've kind of nurtured them the whole way through. If they listen, obviously. And that's a very small percentage, like to be honest, like to be frank. It's a very small percentage, because again, people like the idea of change without actually liking change. But the ones that do stick to it are really, really gratifying, because you've been part of their journey to help them feel better about themselves, to make a big change physically and mentally. If their body changes and they can say that, they're more likely to be happier and just, well off. Like their quality of life improves so much. So that's really gratifying to be part of. With the athletes, it's also gratifying in a sense, but it's more serious. So you know what they want, you're there to help them, and the ceiling and the target's way more higher. Then the problem is some of them are a little bit more entitled. So because they're athletic or whatever it is, they feel like they don't need to put in as much work.
Oh, okay.
So it's a 50-50 for myself. Like, I see guys that are really, how do I say it? They're really hardworking. Like Andy, for example, work ethic second to none. Will do everything he can and more to get what he needs to. And there's other guys that are like, oh, I'm an athlete. Like, you know, I'll just outskill them and stuff like that. And they just get outworked. Like, they don't put in the work they need to because they think they're doing enough already.
Yeah.
So there's that 50-50 of it. Yeah.
So with the general population, like, you say that it's a very small percentage that actually do the things that you tell them to do.
Yeah.
Like, how can you get more of these people to convert, I guess? Like, how can you get more of these people to actually do the things you do? As like a leader, like, what can you do to
being more of a friend, to be honest. So when you have a client that trusts you, they're more likely to listen. And a lot of times they trust you because you're a coach and a PT to them, but also a friend to them.
Yes.
You do have that professional line where you don't cross and you get too close or anything like that. But you need to have that trust where they can understand where you're coming from and understand that you actually want what's best for them. So yeah, listening is a big thing. Body language, actually like caring about them.
Yep.
So that's a big thing because I've seen a lot of like coaches that are so knowledgeable, but they just don't care. Like, they don't give a shit, and they're more for like the hype reels, like recording things when it's just flashy and nice, and then neglecting everyone else.
Yeah.
So many people like that within our industry. Like, it's really bad. Like, there's so many people that I don't post up, but like I message every day, just check up on them, see how they are. If I don't see them in training, I'm like, hey, is everything okay?
Yep.
Like, is there anything I can do to help? And like, it's small things like that that really get them on board. They're like, you know what, he cares about me. It makes me want to put more work in. So they're more inclined to actually follow through and do what you told them to do. And at the same time, like, you're not demanding things of them, because at the end of the day, they're the ones in control. Like, you can't force them to do what they're doing.
No.
But if you at least give them the power to feel like they're in control, which they are, and make those decisions on their own, then they're more inclined to do it. At the end of the day, you're guiding them, but they're the ones doing the hard work.
Facts.
Like, I can literally tell someone run, right? But how fast they run, how hard they run, how often they run is going to be dictated by them. I have it on a piece of paper. This is what I want you to do, but you're the one leading it.
It's like literally you're just the guide. You can open 100%. The door for them, but they have to walk through it.
Yeah.
And all you can really do is set up a safe environment and make them feel loved and make them feel like that you are you want to see them grow.
Yeah.
And that makes them look at you as in like, oh, I want to make this guy proud. I want to.
Yeah, 100%. But that's also the problem, because a lot of people, when they get to that point, they're scared of that change. So that's why they don't follow through with it. They're like, oh, he's putting too much faith in me. I don't know if I can do it. I can't be bothered. And they're just comfortable. Some people are just, they like the idea of it, but they don't like it that much. They think they do, but they don't want it that much to make the change. They're quite comfortable with the way they are. And you'll see quite a lot of drop-offs at the gym, and people just signing up and they're like, I'm going to make a change, and then they don't. And then they just have the gym membership running and they haven't been there for like years. Yeah.
And they just keep getting, the money just keeps draining from the
account.
account.
Like, I think that's statistically, I can't remember what study, I may be way off for this, by the way, but from what I remember, it was like 70 to 80% of commercial gym memberships are ghost memberships.
Really?
So if you get 1,000 members at a gym, 700 to 800 of them are just people that irregularly go to the gym.
Wow. And
you get the 20 to 30 that are actually consistent. And then even then, the 20 to 30, how many of them actually know what they're doing to progress? Right. You see the same people walk through the door all day, every day, over a year, and how many of them actually look different or look better or look stronger?
Yep.
A lot of them are pretty much the same, right? And it's sad to say, but it's the reality of it.
Dang.
And then there's other 70% that just don't turn up at all. Yeah.
I think that is a pretty accurate statistic, because I guess it goes back to like the Pareto principle, like the 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
And like, but that's so heartbreaking, man, to know that.
It is. That's why I do think like a prerequisite of being able to come to the gym is at least having a consultation with a trainer or whatever it is.
Yep.
Although it's unrealistic and unlikely that it will happen, I do think it is a good barrier to entry. if you are serious, because so many people come into the gym not knowing how to lift, and then you just sign up, and then here's a gym membership, just go in there, free reign, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
How many people hurt themselves, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how many people just have no idea what they're doing, and they just run amok and just do really, like, idiotic stuff.
Yeah.
Like, many times I've been in the gym and watched someone do something, I'm like, ooh, that's bad. And the stigma now is that if you go up and tell them, either two things will happen. Oh, you're a grunk, you just leave them alone. Or they appreciate it and help you. But it's like a 50-50 line. It's like, oh, do I really want to toss a coin today? Do I really want to go help someone? And, you know, they start swearing at me and telling me to leave them alone. And they're probably going to think, like, I'm a weird like, person now.
They probably think you're, like, arrogant for trying to help.
Oh, who's this guy? Like, what does he know? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Or do I want to go there and help him? And they're like, oh, thanks for that. Like, it's, very 50-50.
Yeah, and that obviously consumes a lot of your energy as well.
Yeah, it's like, what if they really don't care and they just want to do it? I'd rather put my time to people that genuinely care. It zaps my energy.
Exactly.
And again, like, it's all about efficiency at the end of the day. You can't just give everyone everything. Yeah, as much as you want to.
Yes. And another thing I want to point out that I just realized that, obviously I've known for quite a while, but is the fact that the whole gym is like a very social environment as well. So you got to be able to navigate the different personas and different personalities and stuff.
Especially
as well.
at the gym that I work at now, well, I work at two. They're both very like social, but they're not commercial gyms. So one of them is more class-based, CrossFit-based, Park Fitness in River Park. A lot of people go there to do the classes, and classes are very social. You have friends that you see on a regular because you go to the same hours all the time. And you have those groups, and if you don't turn up to one, you know, like people message you, hey, didn't see you in class today, what's going on? The other gym I go to, it's a lot smaller gym. It's a little bit more like personal based. So it's like semi-private coaching. Everyone comes in at a time and the coach helps them. So I help everyone at the same time. But everyone helps each other out at the same time. So everyone knows each other. So there's that social aspect to it. It makes it a little bit easier to adhere to. Whereas it's a little bit different when you go to like Anytime Fitness, for example. Especially when it's packed peak hour.
Yeah.
You go in there, a lot of people don't like it because it's intimidating. You go in there, there's 100 people in there hogging everything. You're like, oh, I don't know anyone.
Yeah.
I can barely like do a back squat, and there's like 3 guys over there grunting. Like, what the fuck am I going to do? So yeah, that is a little bit of a deterrent for a lot of people.
Okay. So what advice would you give to someone that's new to the gym, that's never been inside the gym, and they want to, I guess, start a plan?
Get a PT, but do your research on a PT. Like, get a good, knowledgeable PT that cares. And the sad thing is there's not a lot of them. Because there's so many people that just drop off as PTs because they just like the idea of training, but they don't upskill themselves to actually learn, like, you know, anatomy, physiology, biomechanics. And like, it's a 1-year course to be a PT. There's not a lot of learning, you know. Like, when I did my Cert 3 and 4, I did not learn a lot. And the people that I passed with, a lot of them just did not care. They just wanted the certificate just to get paid.
Is that TAFE?
Yeah, TAFE. And then even when I went to uni, like, there were a lot of like intelligent and proactive people, but there were also just a small minority that just did not care. They didn't rock up to classes, they didn't really pass their grades, they didn't really take the time to actually learn how to move. During the practicals, they would just go and do the own thing instead of like listening to the teacher. Teacher's explaining something and, like, you know, tips and tricks biomechanically, how this is more efficient, how it's like being loaded in physics terms. And then they're just like, no, I just want a bench press. But, like, you know, this is applicable to the bench press, especially when you're training like so many different people for it. And when you're trying to get like a different adaptation, like, you should be learning this. But they don't want to go through that. It's sad to hear and say, but it is, again, reality of it.
It's like what you said, because I actually did Cert 3 in TAFE as well. But I actually dropped out like the last few weeks because I was one of those guys that you're talking about, where that just didn't give a shit. I was just doing it just to do it. And what's funny is that they don't really teach you. It's kind of just like textbook stuff. They're like, just read this and stuff. The teachers themselves aren't even that motivated to teach as well. That's
when I was in TAFE, that was one of my teachers. I had another teacher that thankfully was like really motivated, and he definitely gave a shit. Like, he was just all about prepping the younger generation to be as skilled and confident as possible. And the other one was just there, comes in late, 5 minutes late all the time. Oh yeah, tick off, show me this,
just whatever. Doing the bare minimum.
Yeah, how do you do a sit-up? oh, yep, yeah, here's the answer here. Like, you know what I mean? Uni does a little bit different when I went uni. So uni was a lot more like, you have to like be switched on, which I was thankful that I went to uni for. Not really when I went during the time, I hated uni.
Yeah.
But like now I appreciate it, especially the skills that it taught me. But yeah, it's one of those things, you kind of just need to have a good teacher. And that goes back to when you are starting off in a new gym or you are starting in a gym for the first time, you need to have a good teacher and an educator to guide you through it.
Yes.
But again, it's hard. It's hard to find one, especially if you don't know what you're looking for. Anyone is good to you, right?
Yep.
Oh, here's a PT. He looks good.
Yep.
But
this guy's big. Fucking choose this guy.
Yeah, but then he could be like just on steroids and not knowing what he's doing.
Yeah.
And one of those things I would say is just research. Research as much as possible. Word of mouth. Ask around. Yeah.
And yeah, going back to the TAFE, I guess, was a curriculum. Like apparently that 1 year that you learn in TAFE Cert 3 and Cert 4, apparently you learn all of that in like 3 months in AIF.
Yeah.
Australian Institute of Fitness. It's crazy how like so much is condensed, but a lot of people, they just learn that and then it's like, oh, I'm done. And then I can continue being PT, and they don't commit themselves to long life growth.
Yeah, like even now, like I finished uni a while ago. I actually can't remember, like 5 years ago maybe. I'm still going to seminars and webinars and reading books and there's like reading more content, listening to podcasts. I'm still a student of the game at the end of the day, and I feel like that's never going to change.
Yes.
Even what I know now, the more I learn, the more I realise I know little. Does that make sense?
Yep.
The more I learn, the less I know.
Yep.
Yeah.
We were talking about this in the last episode. It's like the more you learn, the more knowledge that you accumulate, the more you know that you don't know.
Yeah.
It's like because you're becoming so smart and you realize that there's so much in the world that we'll never be able to like fully absorb.
The human brain is just, we're just so time limited to absorb all of it. And
exactly.
But it's cool in a sense because in a way, like you're always improving, right? And that's one thing I love about life, I'd say. Is just if you are proactive, there's always something that you can learn that's new. There's always a new experience.
100%.
Yeah.
And what I would like to add to that is that I was speaking to my friend about AI and stuff. I was like, imagine just like connecting your mind to AI, like I don't know, Neuralink or some shit, whatever Elon Musk is working on. But and you get all that knowledge of the whole internet, just like that.
Yeah.
But even then, there's so much knowledge that the internet does not have as well. So
then you would need human input initially to put into the internet.
Exactly.
So yeah, there would need to be that external driver to put into the database.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like, again, it's always evolving, always adapting.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get pretty like, I guess like out of whack when you really get into it. Yeah.
And those conversations are the ones that I thrive on. But like also. But that's the beauty of life. Like, imagine knowing everything. Like, what's the fucking point anymore? Like, there's no mystery anymore.
Yeah. Like, once you've experienced everything in life, what else is there to do? You know what I mean? Like, you can't enjoy anything anymore.
Exactly.
You've done it already. Like,
it's like when you play GTA and you fucking type in all the cheat codes. You get a jetpack, you get a jet plane, and then you get 6 stars, and then it's fun for like the first 10-15 minutes. You just keep shooting bazookas and stuff, but then it gets pretty old when you become God mode, you know.
Yeah, and it's like, what do I do from here? Nothing. Like, I've got everything I wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I feel like you know, like people just like multi-billionaires and they can get anything they want.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I would ever want to get to that point, because when I'm at that point, it's like, once I got everything I want, I don't want to work for it anymore. And what's the joy in the journey?
Exactly.
Like the destination is there, but like the fun is in the journey.
Yes.
Like the little bit of grind that you have to put in it, making those mistakes and learning from it and becoming better because of it, getting that satisfaction because you've learned from it, like growing as you go. Like I feel more fulfillment through that than just having it there.
Facts. It's like, it's way more fun to go on a road trip than to teleport. I mean, teleporting is good as well, but like when you're on a road trip, you're like enjoying the journey, feeling the breeze on your face and all that kind of. You got the music in the car and everything. And so, a question I want to ask you is, what has evolved? How has your philosophy of coaching and just martial arts and just life in general evolved through the years?
So I've always been someone that's just focused a lot on just grind. That changed a little bit to work smarter, not harder. And then that went back to grind because I realized a lot of people just milked working smarter and not harder. They didn't appreciate the grind.
Yep.
Now it's kind of like in between a little bit. Like in terms of coaching, you need to, my philosophy is that you just need to be understanding and understand everyone's circumstances are different. But at the same time, you need to work. And it goes back into my training and life and everything too. Anything you want in life is not handed on a free platter. You need to grind and work for it, but you also need to know when to slow down for you to continue working.
Exactly.
I've always been like a very big believer in like, you just can't slow down just because you're tired or anything like that. Like you just need to just keep going and work when is necessary.
Yep.
So that's pretty much my philosophy. Like just push through when you can, and when you need to slow down, slow down.
Like you got to know when to take those pit stops.
Yeah, just like take a pit stop, repair, maintain, and then go again. Like be smart about it, but you need to go when you go.
Yeah, exactly. And I like the whole idea what you said about, you got to work smart, but that doesn't mean you got to stop working hard as well.
Yeah.
It's working hard itself isn't the best, but it's when you put those two together, working smart and working hard, that's when you can optimize the performance really well.
Yes, 100%.
And another question I want to ask you is, if you could train any athlete in the world that's past, present, future, who would it have been?
Any athlete in the world? No one's ever actually asked me this, but any athlete in the world.
Take your time, bro.
I would say. Do you follow like ADCC or like Negi Jiu-Jitsu?
I just recently started watching a little bit of that, but I don't know.
You know who Gordon Ryan is?
I think I didn't. Did you post on his story?
I
saw
something similar about that.
Joe Rogan post on. He just won something.
Yes,
today
he just
I saw
won the
something.
ADCC, which is the equivalent of like the Olympics in Negi Jiu-Jitsu, Negi grappling. He literally like today he won.
Yeah, I saw that right before you came in.
So Gordon Ryan, I'd say if I could train one athlete, it would be him. Only because he is literally the GOAT, like the greatest of all time for Negi Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
Like he just, whatever he wants, he does to the opponent. He'll say, I'm going to submit this person by this, or he'll do it.
Oh shit.
Like he's just such a technical master. But when his approach comes to strength conditioning, it's a little bit shitty. Like he's a very like typical like bodybuilding spirit. Like, and you know, it's worked for him, but like, he's the best jiu-jitsu athlete, not the most knowledgeable strength and conditioning athlete.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which is, I would love to train him in that sense. Yeah.
So he's a chess master, pretty much. In his mind.
He's the person that like, they made chess and he just made another version of chess and now he's just battling everyone in that.
Shit. Like so he's forcing people to play his game of chess instead of...
Yeah, just bad. Like he's like that puppet master.
Yeah.
The whole way through. He's just so like talented and hardworking.
Yeah. What would be an example of like how he does that? Like,
yeah, he literally just does like in terms of like his training or
like his technique, like for example, like you say, he forces people to play his game kind of.
So like let's just say like he's trying to go for a leg lock, like he'll wrestle them to a point where they want to go down on their legs, and then he'll just sit in guard and then just pull them in a position where he leg locks them, and he'll do it like so methodical and tactical as well that it doesn't look athletic.
Yeah.
It's just so like well placed. Like he's just 10 steps ahead. Like he's just going step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and he's literally just going through it like a checklist.
Shit, man.
Yeah.
How old is he? Because he has white hair and everything. He looks a bit.
Oh, he dyed his hair. He looks way older now. I actually don't know how old he is. I think he's our age, to be honest.
What?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
He's definitely on a lot of gear though, but like I think he's our age.
Oh shit. Because I thought he was like 40 years old or something because of his hair. Well, now I thought. Yeah. Anyways, that's what a beast, man. Because because you saying that he doesn't train himself for strength and conditioning the best way. So your idea is like if you could pretty much take him to the next level.
In honesty, he's so good now that even if I had the opportunity to do that, and if anyone else had the opportunity to do that, I don't think it would make him that much better because he's just so good already. Like it would do probably like jack all, to be honest. But I mean, I would like to see what that could do for him in a sense. Like just knowing that, maybe you can make him a little bit better. Like maybe, we can kind of take that avenue a little bit more. But then again, it could just also do nothing for him because he's just so good.
But then again, those people that are at the top of the game, like the best of the best, like every single 1%
Yeah.
counts so much.
Well, for him, he's so ahead of the game that
Really?
even if he drops off by 50%, I don't think anyone's going to catch up to him.
Dang.
Like, they're saying that he's going to be like reigning champ pretty much until he retires. Until he just chooses to retire. There's no one that's going to catch up to him.
Okay. And so he specializes in BJJ, does he?
Yes, no-gi jiu-jitsu.
Does he do MMA?
No.
Striking? So it's just straight
jiu-jitsu.
BJJ?
It's
okay.
the best of the best at no-gi jiu-jitsu.
Dang, man. Yeah, I always definitely gravitated more towards no-gi because it's like...
A little bit more applicable.
Yeah, way
I don't have
more
any, like, you know, thick jackets to grab.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, unless I'm in winter and I can, you know, just grab someone's collar and just throw them. But even then, that's not going to, you know, I'd rather just do it naked if I had to.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And so in, like, say 5 years, like, where do you see yourself at the age of 31? Like, do you see yourself kind of going through this path? Has something been changing in the past few months or anything?
Long-term goal has always just been the best version of myself, whether it be mentally, physically, like with my training as an athlete, with my skills as a coach, myself as a business owner too, running my own business.
Yep.
As a fiancé and husband to my partner, like I just want to be the best version of myself. It gets to a point sometimes where I don't know where that will go because I just want so much. There's so many things that I need to do to get there, where it's kind of like the bigger picture, I don't know where it's going to be. Like, I've always wanted to be a business owner, like I open up my own gym. But then again, once I do that, if and when I do that, it's like, what goes on from there? Like, it's never ending for me, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like there's no real end goal.
Yeah, I love that.
I just see like one road, like turning off to so many different roads. And then the roads are just blurry because I just can't see the end goal.
Yeah.
But it gives me fulfillment to know that there's always a little bit I can chip off and just get better. As long as I can develop time to develop on myself in every avenue that I can, then that gives me satisfaction in life. Yeah.
Like, as corny as it is, it's always going back to the idea of like getting 1% better than the person you were yesterday, hey?
Yeah, literally. Like, if I can get 1% better every day until I die, I'm happy with that. Even if I don't know where I'm going to be when I die, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because I know I'm just going to be way better than I am now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what makes us feel fulfilled, like the feeling of growth.
Yes.
In any avenue. So yeah, I actually want to ask you about like your relationships, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
So like, obviously you have a fiance now, so congratulations with that,
Thank
man.
you.
Dude,
appreciate that, man.
That how's that journey been going on, man?
Oh, awesome, man. With my fiance, I could tell that it was just true love, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where you just feel it.
Yep.
When you don't need to work, you don't need to make such a big effort to change who you are for the person, and then same thing, you just click and they're the right person.
Yeah.
Like, I love her family too, my family loves her, and like, we bond really well.
Yeah.
And even though we have our own interests, like, she doesn't really like me fighting and stuff. I actually don't even tell her half the time when I fight, like, I just do it, because she gets major anxiety from it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And she hates it. She's like, I get it, like, she hates me being hurt and whatnot. But like, you get hit in any sport. Play rugby, you get concussed or you break your leg or whatever.
Yeah.
There's one of those things, but yeah, like, she's lovely, man. Like, my relationship with her is like honestly the best it can be. Yeah.
That's relationship goals, man. Because I always see your story posts of like her mum cooking you the best food and all that kind of stuff, and she's always surprising you with food, man.
My mum-in-law is the best. She makes sure that I'm never hungry. And never hungry with finesse, like, there's always good food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, she's literally treating you as her own son.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I could not, wish for anything better. Like, it just doesn't get better than that.
How did you guys meet?
I met her at my old workplace, actually, at the gym. We just linked up from there, and then at first there wasn't too much going into it. We're just kind of going with the flow, and then it ended up working really well.
Okay, so it wasn't one of those like love at first sight things.
It wasn't, but it was. Like, it's hard to say. It wasn't, but it was. Like, at first something was there, but you're kind of unsure. And then as time went on, you kind of just you knew it was. Like, you see a light at the end of the tunnel, but you're like, what kind of color is it? And then you kind of get closer to it, and you're like, okay, that's that color. You kind of make sure of it.
Yeah.
You have your like curiosity over it, but yeah, eventually you do know. Yeah.
Would you say like you saw her more as a friend first, and like you didn't see her. I was like, oh, I want to be with her. It wasn't like that.
Yeah, it was more of a friend. Yeah. More of a friend, and then spontaneously things just worked out for the better.
Yeah.
Which I think was better for me in a sense. Yeah.
So obviously, I feel like most relationships, they kind of start off with lust, and then that's kind of like a pathway to go downhill because like you don't have the right intentions already.
Yeah, there's the expectation of what you want there, and then everything else kind of fizzles out.
Exactly.
Yeah, but with her, she was very sweet to me, like starting off as well. Like small things like celebrating my birthday and just going out of her way to do things. Like most of my friends wouldn't have done, which I don't expect them to either. But it was just like, I never really had that. Like all my previous relationships, they were not to like talk bad or anything, but they were kind of dog shit. My previous relationships were kind of dog shit, so. Yeah. But then I thought that was the standard. Yeah. You know what I mean? I thought, okay, this is the best it gets. Yeah. Then,
that's because that's all you knew.
Yeah, like if you're stuck in a pond, you don't know what the ocean offers, right? So when I did meet my fiancé and she was just showing me, a better experience of life, I was like, holy shit, man, this is fucking great. Yeah. Like, what the hell?
You've been missing out your whole life.
Yeah, and the funny thing is she's way younger than I am too. She's 5 years younger than me. So you would assume like I'd be the one showing her the world almost, but she was the one that lit that for me, to be honest. So I was just so consumed with work and training, like I never really knew anything else, and she was the one that was, making me enjoy life more. Yep. Yeah.
Showing her that there's more to life than just fighting and grinding and like putting in the hours and stuff. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
And that's the beauty of like feminine energy. Hey, it's like they show us the possibilities of this universe and the things the potentials. Yeah. The spontaneity.
Like I hated kids when I was younger because I was like, I don't get why they're crying all the time and just shitting themselves. Yeah. But like, like every time like someone's like, oh, can you hold my kid? I was like, oh, nah, like just gonna start like shitting me and crying. Like now it's the opposite. I fucking love kids and like it's just being with her just made me change as a man for the better, like way better. Yep. Yeah.
And that just goes to prove that like men and women, like we're not the same, man. But we need each other.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
I wouldn't say we need each other, but when we do have each other and we're both in the like a safe environment, like that's what gives us a chance to elevate and grow and really extract the most out of life and really enjoy life. I want to ask you how long have you guys been together?
A little bit over three years now. We were talking a fair bit before that too. So I'll say like in terms of us dating, probably like 4 years or so.
Okay, so you were like talking for like a year and then official like after 1 year and then 3 years.
I'd say so. Yeah.
So you've been exclusive for like 3 years.
4 years total.
4 years.
We've been together a little bit over 3 years officially.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And so, what are some practices that you guys do to consciously help to grow the relationship and pay yourself in the right way?
So like we have tasks that we do because we're living together now. So like we're just doing little bits that we can make each other's life easier. Communication is probably the biggest one, and just setting time. Because her work hours are very different from mine, so I never actually see her. I only see her when I come home from work, and when I do come home from work, I come home from work quite late, ready just to go sleep, just so I can wake up early again. Wow. Because when I get home, it's like I don't scroll my phone or anything. I'll go shower, and then I'm literally just trying to like get straight to bed so I can just get as much sleep as I can. Yep. But we try to make time for her as much as possible, and we do like dates, spontaneous that we'll get out and just us, literally just us. Yeah. So that's probably the biggest thing. Just more time together.
And like so, literally organizing dates where it's like you're gonna be fully present with each other, and not scrolling on your phone or anything like that. Okay. And obviously, relationships aren't perfect. Like, how did you grow through like challenges where you guys would like, I don't know if you guys argue or anything, but like.
Oh, we actually don't argue a lot.
That's so good.
Which is funny enough because she's got like a short attention span, and I also have a short attention span. So when we argue, like we forget why we argue. I remember last time we had a massive argument and like she was swearing at me. I made a vow to her that I wouldn't swear at her or like cuss her out or anything.
Respect.
Yeah, just because I shouldn't treat, eventually when we do have kids, I shouldn't treat the mother of my children as such, because I wouldn't want my kids to treat their partners like that. No. So I don't swear at her or anything. She says to me, I don't really take it on, like I take it on each other, I don't really care. I'm like, nah, she's just angry. as girls do.
As in when she swears at you.
Yeah, like girls get angry. It's whatever. It's kind of in through one ear, out through the other. But then like we'll go on at it, you know, and we just forgot midway. And then I was like, so what were we arguing again? She goes, I don't know. I'm like, why are you angry? And she was like to me, why are you angry? I was like, I can't remember. And she was like, do you want to get 8? I was like, yeah. And it literally just went from like 100 to 0, and then we went to get 8, and we forgot about what we argued. Like we actually forgot about it.
Damn.
Yeah, and that's pretty much like the gist of our relationship. Like when we argue, it's very like just for a couple minutes, and then literally it just disperse. Because I don't hold on to things. She doesn't hold on to things either. She's very just like, oh, just move on. And yeah, same thing. I'm like, I don't have enough time for me to hold on to things and just drag it on and play it on.
Yeah. Yeah,
very different from my past relationships. So like things would go on for like weeks.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't even talk to me about past relationships, bro. Been there, done that, man.
Yeah.
We will talk about the past though. Like if you could go back to your 13-year-old self, like the self where like you were just getting bullied all the time and stuff. Oh no, you were 10, around there.
Yeah.
Like what would you say to that 10-year-old self that was about to get into like the teens and stuff? And like
one, I would say just be more confident, because I wasn't a confident kid. Growing up, I didn't have that much growing up. My parents weren't like, they weren't poor. Like we like fed quite well and stuff, but we weren't like well off. Like we had just enough to kind of get through. Like we were comfortable, but we didn't have everything that we wanted.
Yeah.
So growing up, there was a lot of things that I had to work for, but I didn't have confidence to do a lot of things I wanted to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my advice for my 10-year-old self would just be believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, because again, like I said, like no one else is going to believe in you behind closed doors.
Yeah.
That was something that I kind of had to learn as I grew up, just going through all those experiences. But again, like I don't know if I would tell myself that, because if I told myself that, would I have gone through those experiences and learnt the way I did?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like I went through all that and I worked in the trenches so that it made me better.
Exactly.
So if I did tell myself that, would it then make me shit? You know what I mean? So
yeah, you may not be the person that you are today.
Exactly right. But that is something that I would want myself to think of.
Okay.
Be more confident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if, say, that 10-year-old self, imagine that was your son, how would you, I guess, get him to practically become more confident?
Just do things that are a lot harder. Like do tasks that are very demanding.
Yeah.
And just seeing how he goes with stress, like seeing how he responds to a negative environment. Obviously, like don't put him in an environment that's gonna like make him depressed, but don't give him the golden spoon love. Like,
yes.
Make sure that he's earning his right and doing everything he can to be a good person and be hardworking and understand gratitude and appreciate the little things. Like when I was younger, like $10 was like my monthly lunch money. Not my weekly lunch, but monthly.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even just use that for eating or just put that to the savings my parents would give me. So I appreciated those $10. Whereas I had a lot of classmates that were given like $25 a week. They lose that money. It's like, oh, I'll just get another one next week. And I'm thinking, I'm like, $25, that's like, half month for me. I'm like, like, I've got to work for that.
That's a lot, man.
Yeah. Like, I started working when I was quite young, probably when I was like 15 or whatever the legal age was to work. I worked at Domino's and I paid for most things when I was at that age. My parents didn't work, so I tried to just help out wherever I could. I paid rent at home when I was quite young too. So I appreciated every little thing from there. So that's one thing I would want to, obviously not make them pay rent, my kids, but like instill worth to them. And appreciate the little things.
Yeah. Let him know that he needs to earn the money and not just like just give him
it's not going to be given to him. If he wants something, he needs to work for it.
Yep.
He needs to build that grind, work ethic. That you want something, you go get it. Like,
exactly.
And again, if you want something, you need the confidence to go get it.
Exactly.
You got to work at it and believe in yourself that you can go get it. That's what's going to make a difference.
Exactly. And that's what will instill the dog in him, because he knows that he's building these little steps and eventually that's what builds him the self-confidence, because he's actively pursuing this stress, whereas most people, they wait till the stress hits them.
Yes.
And then that's...
You see them break. Like you just see people crumble under stress.
100%.
And most people with depression, from what I've kind of read about, is just they don't deal with stress the correct way. Anxiety and stuff is essentially just stress and how we handle the stress.
Yep.
Someone that's been through a lot, they're going to handle something very differently. If someone's like lost their job 10 times over and they've started from rock bottom, the 11th time's not going to be as hard for them.
No.
If someone's only ever done it once, like it feels like the world's crumbling. Same experience, right? You're losing your job. Obviously, context is very important, but it's just how we handle the situation that will really make or break us.
100%. Fuck. That's a great one, man.
Yeah.
So, we're almost at the an hour and a half mark, so I want to say, if you could instill in the next generation, like, just one lesson, you could only tell them one thing, what would it be?
One thing?
Yeah.
Apart from the whole work hard and understand and appreciate the little things, I would say just be a good person. Like, being a good person is free. It's not hard to do. And what I mean by being a good person is just having intention that everyone will benefit without there being a detriment to anyone. I feel like as we get older, and especially when we become more consumed with money and time, a lot of that starts to show. And I put up a post recently about like just being a shit cunt is such a bad thing. Like being a shit cunt is also being a bad person. So yeah, just be a good person. Like if whatever you're gonna do is gonna hurt anyone, then do it. And I feel like that's something that it's so hard to teach because it's morals are always like contradicting. You know, like you think you're doing something right, but it might not be. But my advice is just do what you feel makes you a good person. Yeah, to the younger generation. More good people out there, the better society's going to be. Everyone's going to thrive a little bit better, and yeah, there's less shit that goes around the world. Yeah.
And that's pretty much the essence of every single religion.
Literally, yeah. Well, it should be.
Yeah.
It should be, yeah.
Well, like in the Bible, it says, do unto others how you like to be done unto you. And everyone's like, yeah, treat others how you'd like to be treated, pretty much. And it's so easy to say, but like so many of us forget that, and we stay thinking about ourselves and like how can this thing help me, and instead of like thinking how can I help my neighbor kind of thing. But I definitely agree with that, man. It's just the most basic human desires. Like I feel like most people, if you're not a narcissist or like a psychopath, like you want to see other people happy as well. Yeah,
you want to see, if I can grow and you can grow, it's awesome.
It's contagious.
It shouldn't be, I want to see myself grow and that's it. Like, if I grow, you grow, we both grow together, that's happy days. Like, that's, yeah. It's sad to say, like, not a lot of people think that. Well, actually, I wouldn't say not a lot, but there's a small bunch that
actually practice it.
Yeah. Like, you can really tell if someone's a good person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can also tell when someone's a real shit person. Yeah.
It's all in the energy, the aura, you just feel it. You don't even have to speak it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Anyways, perfect way to end the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on, bro.
Man. Thank you for having me on.
Bro, it's always, whenever it's a great interview or like a chat, I don't feel like it was an interview, but that handshake is always fucking crisp, bro.
Today was a good day, man.
It was, bro. Thank you so much again for tuning in, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.
Cheers.
My man.
Oh, man, that was good.